Okay, I wanted to answer some questions that I have been asked, and I've written a lot lately about authenticity and about a shift that I've had in the way I do things and the direction that I want my blog, my business, my life in general to go, because really they blend together so much that it's hard to separate one from the other. And I think that's the way it is for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially when they feel a passion for what they do. And so I'm a lifestyle blogger and I blog about food, fashion, a lot of tabletop decor things. And I really would like to get into that more. We live in a 100-year-old house and it has been quite the journey to decorate it and bring it to where it is today. And also lived through a really harrowing renovation last year that I'm still recovering from. So, all of that to just give you a little background of who I am and what I do. The first question that I wanted to answer was, you've been blogging for 12 years. What made you almost walk away and what made you decide to stay? So, here is just the honest truth about all of that. I did not go into this blogging influencer realm lifestyle to make money originally. I went into it because I was going through a very difficult time in my life and I needed something to focus on, a way to be creative, a way to get my attention off my life and what was going on. And the blog was pretty amazing for that. It really gave me a focus. And then I started to realize, maybe I could make some money doing this because I was spending a lot of time on it. And so I applied to be an LTK affiliate, and it took me a little while to on Instagram, but in 2017, I did start adding links to my blog and I started being more active on Instagram. I did decide that I wanted to make money. Why not? I was working really hard. And that evolved. And I started working with brands and I started to feel really driven. Am I wasting my time? If I'm going to spend this much time, I need to be making X amount of dollars. And it really got to the point where that became the focus. And along with that focus became, how many followers do I have on Instagram? Are my posts performing well? How is my engagement? Because I wanted brands to see me as a person who could sell their clothing or whatever products that I was talking about. So one thing led to another, and I started taking pretty much every collaboration that I was offered, whether it was paid or not. And the unpaid ones, for the most part, were things that I could use affiliate links for, sell through. And so, in a way, there was an opportunity to make money, but it was like more than a full-time job. I was trying to write a blog post every day, post on Instagram, keep up with YouTube, put everything on Pinterest, answer comments, create content, be photographed, put outfits together, do videos, and it really became quite exhausting. And I don't even know how long this went on, or really when it started to get that intense. 2 or 3 years ago, it started to be more than I could handle. And I do have a photographer. I have had someone to help me with video, and I was doing food videos. Honestly, that's how I grew my Instagram. I had someone accuse me of buying followers, and I did in the very beginning, probably about 500 followers. But when my follower went up, was when I was doing food videos. I had one go viral and I had 2 million views. And so that is how my Instagram numbers grew. My blog numbers, I still have a very small email list compared to how many people look at my blog every day. I'm trying to grow, to go back to the original question. All of this that I've just told you, it was exhausting. And I started to think, I'm not seeing my grandchildren. I'm not walking my dogs. I'm not exercising. I'm not eating well. I don't have time to do anything but sleep and work. And it really started to feel as if I was betraying my family, betraying myself. And I have things that I love to do, necessarily want to put on the blog. I just want time to live sometimes. So it made me think, what am I doing? Should I just stop? I just look at it as a hobby, which someone suggested to me. And honestly, when people that have never done this start suggesting that I've worked at something for 12 years, and then all of a sudden I should just look at it like a hobby, all of these little things that people were saying to me started to get inside my head. And I was like, well, maybe that's what I should do. But I wanted to make my own money. And that was the very thing that made me start wanting to make money. It would be my money that I earn. And don't even want to go into all the reasons for that. But there was a very compelling reason. And down the road, I'll talk about that. But I think good for women to make their own money. So anyway, the point to why I decided to stay. I decided that I could do things differently, that I could stop working with brands that I didn't really love, that I could stop doing collaborations that didn't seem worth my time, even if I did happen to like the brand. More from the heart blog posts that really resonated with me, that I enjoyed writing. I could post on Instagram as often as I could. In other words, I took some of the pressure off of myself to keep performing. And now I feel like I've taken a step back and I'm going into this with a fresh perspective. I'm learning about my analytics. I'm learning about kind of the back end of the business. And quite honestly, in order to be a business person, you got to do that. And I'm not very business minded, although lately it's become a little fascinating to me to think about the why of everything and how I can tweak things just a little bit and make them more effective. And of this is no matter what I'm doing, whether it's learning to be a better business person or learning to be a better person making videos, learning more about photography, just figuring the whole thing out, my authenticity has to come first. Because if it doesn't, it's not sincere. I'm not energetically aligned with what I'm doing, which is very important to me. And I totally got away from that. 5 years ago, I was meditating every day. I was reading books on spirituality. I was really into self-development world. And I've stepped back into that in a big way now. I am once again back with my mentor. I am participating some interesting things in the morning that involve how to reprogram your brain when you first waking up and you're still in that groggy state. That's a really interesting thing, and there's a name for it. And I wrote a blog post about it, but I just don't remember the name of the technique. So I've just decided that if I'm going to grow this thing, if it's going to be what I want it to be, I have to be authentic, and I have to also fit time to spend with my grandchildren, time to meditate and be in that spiritual place, which I want to bring into every avenue of my life. I need to spend more time with my husband. I need to spend more time. I want to spend more time on all these things. Need is not the word I should be using here. I want to spend more time on these things. I want to finish my house. We've been living here for 22 years and it's been a project. And with decorating, you do something, you leave it for a while, you get tired of it. You feel like you want to recover a chair or get some new throw pillows or just refresh the room. So all of this, I've just decided that I'm going to come at it from a different angle. I'm going to take the time off when I need it. I'm going to produce content that feels so good to me, that resonates with who I am, who I'm trying to become. And I just feel like I may lose some followers along the way with that. I don't know, because I want to share every aspect of my life. And I do have definite ideas about a worldview. I have a worldview, and everyone might not love my worldview, but the people who are drawn to me, I really think will stay with me. The people who aren't meant for me will fade away and new people will come. And I will grow an audience of people who, let's call it audience, let's call them a community. That is my goal, to community of people that I can interact with, that I would love to meet, people I would love to sit down and have dinner with, a glass of wine, just that type of thing. I don't want to be this person up here and then have an audience. I want to be a person who has a community of people that I chosen to surround myself with and that they have chosen me to be with and to read my Substack, my blog, to watch me on Instagram, and hopefully to be inspired by what I cook and what I eat and what I wear and how I decorate my house. And just, I want it to be a give and take of sorts. And so that is a really long answer to that question, but I think it's very important. So I've got lots more questions. This is the first video, and we're going to see where this goes.